Okay, I'm also going to tell you a story of becoming, a little different one. And the story basically came to me when I agreed to do this here at Storyteller tonight. Because when I was a kid, when I was like 14, 15, I was anything but cool. It was terrible. I was shy, I was pale, I had an issue with my knee, so I couldn't do sports. Sports usually help a lot with your physical confidence, right? So I wasn't invited to parties or anything, drinking, smoking, and the other kids were already quite good at that. It was horrible, and worst of all, I was invisible to the boys. Like I was non-existent, basically. It really bothered me, not because being cool is so important, but because it was really boring. So, what happened then was, I always liked literature, I liked theater. We did a lot of this reading out loud of dramas in class, and my teacher said, why don't you join our drama club? You seem to really enjoy this. And I did. It was a daunting suggestion because all the cool kids were in that drama club. Because it was a big thing at my school. They would do it quite professionally. You would tour different schools in the region, so it was a bit bigger as it was maybe at other schools. But I had hope there, because other than at just a party, you would get a script. So you don't have to make up your own conversations and wonder when to giggle and when to pause. They would give you a script. They would also give you a costume. You don't have to figure out what to wear. It was also very good. At the end, they would even do your makeup. So I figured maybe I could do this. And I went there, and it turned out I really loved it. And right from the beginning, I got quite good parts. I wouldn't get the lead part, like I wouldn't get the Juliet to the Romeo, but I would get like sort of the second biggest female part, which was like an evil queen, or a witch, or some sort of freakish character. And I can tell you, these are the best roles, you know? Because you really get to put in emotion, you can go wild, they're very, like the love interest is, when it comes to acting, it's not a very good role actually. But those roles were amazing. You get all this suppressed emotion, usually it's really, you can let it out, right? Like one of my favorite was, there's a play by Dürrenmatt, Der Besuch der alten Dame, it's in German. And there's a teacher in one scene, and she's drunk and she's desperate, she wants to warn the villagers of a big mistake, and I could act so drunk like I never managed in real life. I was never drunk because I wasn't cool. But I did really well. I was a great drunk woman. And it's a man in the play, but in school plays, right, they have to think of equality and all that, so all these classical plays, they got lots of women where there are none. So school is very kind in that sense, right? It's very inclusive, everybody gets to join. And I got a wee bit famous, like people in the street would be like, oh, I saw your drunk performance, that was amazing. So it was great, basically. I had friends, we had parties after the plays, but I wasn't happy. Because still there was a disaster in the love department, right? So I thought, what I have to get to is I have to get that Juliet role, right? That will solve the problem. Finally, I'll be visible, I'm the love interest, right? And after years and years of number 2, I kind of nagged the director into, it's time I have to be the Juliet character. And he obviously wasn't happy with that. But it was cool, like it was kind of a fairness thing. After all those years, I got that part. It's the only part I don't remember what the name was. Because it was an absolute disaster. It was stiff, it was boring, it was, I couldn't, that was too much for me. I couldn't embody that. I wasn't that at that age. And I also learned that I really have a limit of what level of intimacy I want to bring on a stage. Like what I can, like even kissing in front of an audience, like yelling and screaming and being drunk worked, but the kissing in front of, that didn't work well for me. But still, I really loved acting, I loved theater, it was the best thing, and I wanted to, after school, I wanted to further go down that road, right? So I did enroll for law studies, but the plan was also to audition for acting schools, like do something in that department. And to keep that going, I wanted to be part of the university theater. They had an audition right when I started, for the first term, so I went to that audition, confidently, for the lead. And now here, I was completely out of the sheltered world of school theater, right? That was different, that was real life. It was still university, right? It wasn't a paid thing, but still, it was real life. So that audition went slightly different as what I was used to from school. There were 6 girls, and the lead role was, there was an alien kid who would land in an earthly family, and from that perspective would kind of provide an insight into human society. That was the plan. So a bit of a like shy Kate Moss-like figure, let's say, was helping with playing an alien kid, right? You can see that. So it was me and some other girls, and the director just said, you know, just be a dog. So we were dogs. So we were like, you were throwing invisible treats, we were supposed to, you know, it was funny, it wasn't overly sexual, the atmosphere, but you know, still girls, dogs, director, I don't know. I wasn't super enthusiastic. I also had a feeling like there was a lot of talent around me and, you know, like panting and whizzing over the floor on all 4, and I had a feeling it didn't go great. But the miracle happened, I did get the lead. I couldn't believe it, and even better, after the thing, the director asked me out for dinner. And apparently, it became very clear he had a major crush on me because I was so talented. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Week 2 of my new life, I had scored across the board, really. I had the lead, I had the guy, like, I was done, basically. That went through, then rehearsals started. At a much quicker pace and much tougher than at school. At school you can doodle around for weeks, nobody knows the lines. Here you have to know them. Day 1, monologue, sounded quite straightforward. But the director envisioned something now before this monologue. He wanted that kid, like, to open the play, the kid sitting on the toilet, making for 3 minutes constipation noises. I struggled with kissing, right? So I just couldn't do that. Like I wouldn't put my pants down, not even symbolically, that wouldn't go well. And at the end of the rehearsal, I was off. I was off that role. Obviously, I didn't have the experimental vibe for that. At dinner, it turned out I had other hesitations with the pants letting down as well, and I was off that girlfriend role as well. So that fell apart completely. And I would just like say, I don't think this director was some sort of abusive character, but that theater was his party, and he owned it, and he had as much fun with it as he could. And I think that's just what happens or what it is. And I was devastated. It was like the first time in many years that I was without a role, without a script, without anything. And I was so devastated that it really got me thinking of it. Like, is that really a good thing for me, to always look for a role, to look for someone to give you lines, to look for someone to give you a place to be? And I figured that maybe for me, that's even a bit of a so-so thing. Like, there will always be some insecurity, some sort of hollowness that I can mask up easily if the role goes well, but that is not very real, and I sort of retreated from that. And I'm even more happy that I now somehow return a bit to stages and talking and readings, but with my very own words in that sense. And I also I wrote 2 books, and I have a short story collection that just came out, which doesn't have this one, but it's similar, like personal growth, experience, stories, and I'm much like the others, like, I don't want to take them home. So please feel free to. Thank you so much.